Well, I'd say it's a huge day for America's team. Mike McCarthy introduces the Cowboys' 9th head coach in franchise history. As you saw at the top of the show, are Jelnick and Nate White there for team coverage. Let's bring them back in. Jill, first question to you. Describe the environment at the start today.
Well, as you might imagine, this isn't just any normal press conference. This was a big deal today, and therefore it needed a bigger room. Normally, press conferences here for the Dallas Cowboys are held in a special room here at the Star, but today it was at the Ford Center. A lot more space for a lot of media and a lot more people. A lot of people wanting to hear those first words from the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and you could feel the anticipation in the room. It was palpable, and then finally, when Mike McCarthy took center stage, all eyes were on him, and he had a very playful first impression here in Dallas. He joked a little bit, said he hadn't put his hands on a press conference table before. He wasn't used to that, and immediately took a joyous approach to this Dallas Cowboys team, and a great high-energy first impression from Mike McCarthy.
Now, Nate, let's bring you in. Did McCarthy make any news during today's press conference?
Well, other than being officially introduced as the head coach of the Cowboys, there really wasn't anything new to report other than that. McCarthy was asked several times, will he be calling the plays? Will he be bringing back this current staff that are currently on contract? And he kept saying now is not the time to talk about those things. He'll be ready to talk about it once he actually hires a staff and once he also actually figures out who he'll be keeping on board. And he said that his next steps involve talking to the current members who are on staff and who are also under contract.
Now, Jill, how much of a surprise was this to McCarthy? Or was this something that he anticipated?
In many ways, this was no surprise for head coach Mike McCarthy. Yes, he took a year away from football this past season, but he utilized this year to get better, to improve himself as a coach. And what he did was he actually assembled his own staff. They met in his office. They had several meetings throughout the week, month after month. They analyzed tape. They went over schemes, and they looked at players specifically. And this is all with no team of his own. He just did this to make him a better coach, basically kept in coach shape. And he also said it was important to keep his mind mentally strong so that if someone did call one day, which he hopefully expected and hopefully would happen, then he'd be ready. Well, that did happen, and it was not too much of a surprise that it was Jerry Jones himself, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He was hoping that he'd get a chance to coach a fantastic team and a fantastic franchise, and that's exactly what happened.
Nate, what stuck out to you or maybe surprised you the most about what was said today at the presser?
Well, I wouldn't say there was anything, or at least too much, that actually surprised me, but something that really stuck out was the insight that Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy shared about their interview process. They spent about 12 hours together, and that was about all Jerry Jones needed to know that McCarthy was the guy. He was talking about conversations they had, and Mike McCarthy mentioned a story that Jerry told to him about actually buying the franchise, and it ended with Jones grabbing McCarthy's arm and saying, "You need to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys," in which Mike McCarthy started to choke up and say how honored he was. And now what we know, Mike McCarthy is the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Guys, thank you. Appreciate the time. Jelnick, Nate White, providing our Sports Tonight team coverage from the Star.